All right, I got my crown on this time because it looks like we got some more information about royalty and legacy. We're still a few days away from the Dynasty trailer, which will show more of that gameplay. But we did get a little more of a glimpse, I guess, into the families of Ondarion. So starting here on their Twitter account. So we have Meet the Dynasties of Royalty and Legacy available February 12th. We have a little more image of the Capps, image of the Thebes, I guess, and then image of the Darongs. And then we have an accompanying blog post, which I'm going to pull up here. So we have Meet Ondarion's Dynasties in the Royalty and Legacy expansion pack. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Hear ye, simmers. You have entered the majestic world of Ondarion, a vacant throne and 3 regions. With the sovereign throne standing empty, Ondarion's future is uncertain. Across 3 distinct regions, powerful family schemes, scandals stir, and old rivalries refuse to be buried. Whether you choose to rise to ranks as a noble or enjoy the simple life of a commoner, you'll want to know the neighbors and, more importantly, their secrets. Set your trunks aside and meet the Sims of Ondarion from the Sims 4 Royalty and Legacy expansion pack. Alright, so we got Verdamar. Looks like there's 2 families, the House of Thebe and the Abrantes. In Dambele, Art, Community, and Quiet Ambition, we have the Darong family. And then Bellacord, we have 3. We have the House of Capps, the Montes, and the Altos. Curious, I'm wondering if I say Monty, because one of my dog's name is Monty. I wonder if he's going to hear it and start running out. We'll find out shortly, but alright. Anyway, let's start with the Thebes, and this is the one I thought was the most interesting. As you can kind of get a little hint right here, I have Cordelia Thebes profile up. Verdamar, built on secrets and social power. Bustling harbor where nobles mingle with heroic outlaws and fortune favors the bold. Verdamar thrives on traveling and whispered truths. The House of Thebe. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, so someone correct me if I'm wrong. Masters of the Open Sea. The great port of Verdamar is home to the Thebe family, a cunning and adventurous house known for mingling with Sims of all backgrounds, from nobles and outlaws alike. At its head sits Cordelia V of the House of Thebe, a legendary navigator and direct descendant of Cornelia I. Like her ancestor, she is an intrepid seafaring socialite with a taste for lavish gatherings, amassed riches, and complicated affairs. Cordelia I famously took not 1, not 2, but 4 pirate lovers. From 2 of these unions came children, a legacy that helped shape Verdamar's cosmopolitan spirit. So before we jump into the rest of them, I just want to point out that I guess I wasn't registering at first that the House of Thebe was related to Princess Cordelia, because you see her stuff throughout the game like all the time. I'll pull up her Sims Wiki profile here, and yeah, so she has there's a bunch of stuff, like there's a bunch of items in the game like named after her. Particularly this bust is, I think, in base game. I think it's base in the game. This is a bust of this Princess Cordelia I. And then it kind of hints here, if you have Henford on Bagley and the Bramblewood, like that, the lot at the very top of the mountain is Cordelia's secret cottage. So I guess this is where she ended up fled in the rest of her days. This also brings up, I'm not gonna read everything, but I do want to call out a couple things. So we have Cordelia's palace. Princess Cordelia lived in a grand palace on the coast of a vast kingdom. We're assuming this is Verdamar, and we have a picture. It kind of lends itself kind of like the same building style. And then, but the other thing I want to call out is this Great Sloth Invasion. So the bit storyline behind here is the Great Sloth Invasion was a disaster that struck Cordelia's kingdom and forced its residents to evacuate those who did not perish due to the invading giant sloths. Cordelia was able to escape in time and took everything she could carry into her submersible, along with her pirate boyfriend, Captain Long John Buttercups, and his crew, and a handful of stuff of their palace, I think including the butler, because I think there is a butler statue, if I'm not mistaken. Well, first off, this is like the whole list of stuff that's like has a reference to Princess Cordelia. So you can see it's quite a bit. You can see it's quite a bit of stuff. Yeah, and I think she has like references in Brightchester. Apparently she helped design Brightchester. There's a lot of Princess Cordelia lore scattered through the game. And I thought there was an image of, like, there's a butler statue that I think was supposed to be like her butler. I thought there was an image in here. Well, here it is. Statue of Bob the Butler. But yeah, I'm mostly curious if like we're going to see or get more lore about this Great Sloth Invasion, because I'm assuming that would have occurred in Ondarion. And going from the first generation to Cordelia first to Cordelia the fifth, unless there were like if they went from like Cordelia first, second, third, fourth, fifth, that's not too long of a period of time. Now, granted, if it was like Cordelia the first was like 500 years ago and there were multiple names since then, just so happens this most one's named Cordelia the fifth, maybe. But if this is a not so distant event, I'm hoping we get some more lore, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Anyway, so that is the House of Thebe, the Abrantes family, ambition beneath devotion. Cordelia's husband, Diago Abrantes, is a devoted partner who loves her not for her status, but for who she is. While he enjoys the comforts of noble noble life, he has little interest in pursuing the unifying crown and is content in the world they share. A peace that may endure or erode should he learn of Cordelia's secret. Ooh. Thiago's mother, Ermelinda Abrantes, is far less content. Power hungry and disdainful of Cordelia, she will stop at nothing to see the crown placed upon her son's head. Her teenage daughter, Sofia Abrantes, is capable, outgoing, and fiercely loyal to Thiago. Aware of Cordelia's infidelity, Sofia is still weighing how or if to use this knowledge. So I think this is like, I guess this is like her secret lover. I think this was in the trailer. So this is Cordelia V, I'm assuming. This would be Thiago, and I guess this is the lover? I don't remember. I don't know is her name listed in here at all? I don't know, maybe this is the Fia Acosta. So separate from the family's inner circle is Fia Acosta, a commoner who frequents the local pirate bar and harbors secrets of her own. Not only is she Cordelia's shadowy paramour, there we go, she is also Ondarion's royal robber, a charitable burglar whose band of outlaws hides stolen noble wealth across the kingdom. Okay, so she's like Robin Hood. Okay. Fia's confidant, Aloisio Romualdo. Oh god, I know I butchered that. Aloisio Romualdo knows every detail. An experienced extortionist, his loyalty may prove to be invaluable should the truth come ashore. So a lot of stuff going on there, but I'm mostly curious. I want to know what happened. I want to know what's going on with this Great Sloth Invasion. So yeah. All right. Anyway, we have the Darongs from Dombele. Though Dombele values community and art over the wealth and material excess prized by its neighbors, the same familiar secrets found throughout Ondarion still whisper through its charming public gardens. The Darong dynasty, philanthropy and power. The prominent dynasty in this regal neighborhood belongs to the Darong family, austere traditionalists who see themselves as the philanthropic guardians of their people. The recently retired Grand Duke Adekoye Darong sits atop the family tree and hopes his adult daughter Jawara will campaign for the Ondarion throne on behalf of the entire family, an ambition she, the Grand Duchess of Dombele, openly shares. The next generation, Jawara has two children of her own, daughter Amarachi, an artsy teenager who actively champions Dombele's artistic traditions, and her son Obi, a child genius whose scholarly talents rival, if not surpass, those of his grandfather. Ooh, a mysterious suitor. Though Jawara currently lacks a partner in the pursuit of the crown, she has recently been courted by a mysterious newcomer and preeminent fencer, Akachi Anoha. While Jawara weighs her next move, her father remains deeply skeptical of Akachi's intentions. Okay. The Ananao family, artists and tricksters. A visit to Dembele would be incomplete without a stop at the Zambira market, where you're likely to encounter the elder artist Akene Ananao selling his handmade crafts. He's good-hearted but a bit mischievous, so only engage if you fancy a joke or a trick. Akene is also the guardian of his granddaughter Afua Ananao. Though her mother has passed, her father, unbeknownst to her, still lives in Dambele. Ooh. He just so happens to be the patriarch of the Darong dynasty, a secret he, Adekoye, and Akene have agreed to keep at the mother's request to shield her from noble pressures. And then we have the Capps from Bellacord, chivalry in decline and excess on display. Neighboring its namesake lake, Bellacord is a land steeped in chivalry and knighthood that has since been a place dripped in excess as the wealthy and noble parade their opulence. House of Capp, power, tradition, and decadence. No family embodies this contradiction more fully than the Capps. At the head of the house is Tybalt Capp, a man enthralled by noble life and relentless drive to gain more power. Though he openly vies for the crown, his more immediate ambition is to marry his 3 adult children into status cementing unions, all in the service of the dynasty. The Capp heirs, a fractured line. The Capp heirs reflect Bellacord's internal fractures. Beatrice, the eldest and heir apparent, is admired for her composure, style, and grace. Though often perceived as aloof even by high society standards, she secretly longs for deeper, more meaningful connections. Celeste, the middle child, reveres the ideals of chivalry but rejects their father's crude materialism. And Virgilio, the youngest, is openly rebellious, disdainful of noble life, and in quiet circles, his name is murmured in connection with the defacing of the great Bellacord statue. Ooh, scandal. Haunting Bellacord's halls is Consort Capp, Tybalt's grandfather and the former Grand Duke turned ghost. Haunting Bellacord's halls is Consort Capp, Tybalt's grandfather and the former Grand Duke turned ghost. A staunch traditionalist who credits himself for much of the region's prosperity, Consort wanders the town in visible disdain of his descendants' decadence. The Monty family, love, scandal, and rivalry. Rivals to the Capps are the Montys, Juliet Monty, so I guess it's Juliet Montague from Romeo and Juliet. Tybalt's disowned sister engulfed the family in scandal when she eloped with the commoner Romeo Monty. There we go! Though Romeo, an easygoing chef, is happy with his piece of the pie, Juliet quietly nurses resentment towards her brother and the nobility ability she lost. Her teenage son Dante is a good-natured goofball who sees beyond the rivalry and maintains a close, secret friendship with his cousin Celeste. Marriage as a shortcut to status. For those seeking a faster path to nobility, marriage can offer a tempting shortcut, though not without its trials. Enzo Alto, a noble bachelor and cousin of Holly Alto from Get Famous. Oh, okay, little twist, little connection there. Offers such an opportunity. The perks are royal, his personality, not so much. Across Verdamar, Dembale, and Bellacord, alliances can be forged, secrets exposed, and legacies rewritten. Will your Sims uphold tradition, spark rebellion, or claim the crown for themselves? In Ondarion, every family has a story, and every story is yours to shape. So I like that they have like these kind of elaborate backstories for the world. It's a shame that, at least from the way I play, once you actually get into the game, none of it matters. I say that just because like you have this elaborate backstory for like Beatrice, Capp, Celeste, and Virgilio. As soon as you load up the game, if you enable neighborhood stories, like Beatrice is gonna marry Agnes Crumplebottom, Celeste is gonna hook up with Marcus Flex. None of this stuff is gonna matter once you actually get into the game, which is kind of a shame. I guess you could get around that by not having neighborhood stories enabled, but then nothing's gonna happen. So either way, it's interesting that they're at least laying the groundwork for this. It's interesting that we're seeing a lot more like backstory around Cordelia, especially since she has been such a mainstay, even if it's kind of in the background throughout the whole lifetime of the game. Like I said, I'm hoping we get some more information about like this Great Sloth Invasion, because it sounds like a really cool storyline. Although I will say that it's Great Sloth Invasion. It's ridiculous enough that it could be interesting, but I'm wondering if it's too ridiculous to actually like show in the game. So we'll see what happens. Anyway, we have a Dynasty trailer coming out in a few days, so I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on that. If there's anything else you'd like me to try to cover about this pack, please let me know. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. I am trying to grow this channel, and you guys have been such an immense and amazing support for that so far, so thank you. But with all that, hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you next time, friends. Bye, everybody.